So, welcome to another day of me in isolation, talking to you. I wasn't going to talk to you today because I thought I've said plenty enough and there's nothing else to say, but things always come up, and what else is there to do but to talk to you guys? So, I thought I would mention a couple of things. First of all, hair loss, uh, laxatives, because everyone wants to know about them, and my stats, and actually what's going to go on from now, which is really good news for me. And I'll talk about that in that order. So let's start with hair loss. So I am now in, I think, day 9 of isolation, I think. Certainly a bunch of days into isolation. And it's only now that my hair is properly starting to fall out. As I've said, it's fallen out lower down my body, but now it's starting to fall out of my head. They say don't pick it out because then it's less likely to grow back. You know, if you have hair in clumps, don't sort of yank it out. But this is a sort of process of your hair falling out of your head. So what you do is you get these flannels to clean yourself with, and you get private bottles of private liquid, which is to do your nether regions, and then bottles of other area, bottles for your body to do the rest of your body, and you basically wet these as much as possible so they're pretty soaking. So you have a nice wet sort of flannelette, and then this one for your head, you give your head a good scrub and a good wash, make sure you're nice and clean, but in doing so you are likely to dislodge huge amounts of hair, and there you go, there's my hair falling out quite freely. So and if I did that on my beard, you can see my beard is marginally patchy. That would happen again with my beard and eyelashes. You know, if I sort of did a bit of this, a bit of that, then it sort of comes. Oh, you can't really see, but you know, hair comes off as well. That's what happens. Your hair will fall out. It will fall out naturally in bed and in your clothing, and if you shake your hair just as you normally do, it will fall out. But when you do these sort of formal washes, that's when you'll get your little flannelettes covered in hair. So my hair is now, I don't know if you can see if it's patchy at all, but it should be, I mean, despite my baldness, there's still a fair amount of hair on there, I like to think anyway. Not on top. And yeah, so that's the worst camera angle you've ever seen. So sorry about that. No David Bailey for me. So my hair is falling out. That's part of the natural process. Get used to it. It will grow back. Many people say it grows back curlier to begin with, probably finer and curlier, and that can be variable in the amount of time it takes to grow back. Someone like me, it's not too much of a problem. You're a bloke, you can walk around bald, you know, without too much of an issue. But for women, that's far more of a challenge, obviously, because hair is often very much a more important part of their lives and their identity. But that's part and parcel of the treatment. It happens later than you would think in the kind of chemotherapy phase. Second thing, I asked today for some laxatives just to help me on my way. It can be a bit difficult. I don't know whether that's the drugs or the food. It's probably not the food. It will almost certainly be the drugs. Consistency and colour and everything is all very different, and so just to ease my way through the day in personal hygiene, laxatives were in order, so I'm looking forward to using them. The third thing I'm going to talk to you about is really very good news. So Dr. F came in this morning and he said, yet again, my stats are superstar. So that's really, really good. I'm going to show you them again just to give you the idea of the time frame of what's going on here. So there are my stats. This was the first sort of 8 days where you saw my leukocytes dropping considerably, 0.02, 0.02, 0.02, and then they started going up yesterday to 0.08. And today's, this is day 9, they are 0.86, and my platelets have also gone up to 52, and my hemoglobin, my blood is 96. So basically he's saying that's fantastic. I'm right on the money, which means at day 10, that arrow, he says, I'm going to be out of isolation tomorrow. Tomorrow will be my last day of isolation, and then I think, so that's the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. I'll be leaving on the 13th, day 13 here. Helen will be picking me up here, so I'll be discharged there. She'll be arriving in Hotel Vega on day 12. So it means that if I get 1 day of isolation, or if they let me out tomorrow, then I get a couple of days of moseying around in my clothing, my normal clothing, just being careful, where my immunity will be at an acceptable level to leave the room and be careful with a mask and whatnot, and integrate with other people, which you would assume help my immunity system to further improve. I mean, there are these sort of different spheres of thought. You listen to some people on the HSCT forums who create these very detailed forms of inoculating yourself against society. You know, going into isolation and cleaning your home to the umpteenth level, so that you are really living in a barren house, lacking in any kind of germ or any kind of threat to your immune system. The other side of the coin is actually you need to introduce, or some people would say you need to introduce challenges to your immune system, because that's what builds up your immune system. And so maybe there's a happy medium there, maybe one is better than the other, I'm not sure. We are going to use a lot of hand wash, we are going to keep the house clean, but I don't think we're going to go absolutely insane, because my immune system will be, hopefully, somewhere around maybe 60%. And it's a case of just slowly building that up with coming into contact with germs that aren't particularly harmful ones, so that after a few months I should be back in the saddle. Now, I know some people would disagree with that, and there are different advices as to what you should do, when you should first go to the swimming pool, when you should first do this, what to do with pets, look at the best advice that you can get. Speak to Dr. Fedorenko, he knows. He's actually one of the ones who's slightly in the middle about, you've got to take a few calculated risks in order to promote your immune system to kick it into working. Whereas some other people are like, right, I can't take any risks. This is too serious. I don't want to have this whole process wasted. So I don't know. There are some personal choices there, but based on the best evidence that you can find, obviously. The great result is, for me personally, my stats are really good, and I'm looking like coming out of isolation sooner than I was expecting. This isn't the case for everyone. People are in different positions. They have different disability levels, different EDSS scores, different cognitive levels. So for some people, where their frontal cortexes are more affected by the lesions and they have their brain fogs, and more the relapsing remitting style of MS that can affect speech and things like that, they might have very different sort of pathways that someone like myself with PPMS, whereby my physical coordination is more affected, but I'm much lower down the scale, so I've hit this quite early. So actually I'm not in a wheelchair, I don't use walking aids, but that's where I would be. Does that mean that actually I'm in a better position to have gone through this process more successfully as far as my bloods and stats are concerned than someone else? I don't know the answers to that, but I have a sneaky suspicion that I was a good candidate for HSCT and hit it early, and that's why I really advocate hitting it really, really early. I hope this was useful for you. It's a short one just to talk about stats, lax, and needing hats or something. And then as a parrot. Again, any other questions? Anything you want to know about anything, please do let me know. I have actually enjoyed being in isolation. It's been an odd thing. I was speaking to my partner this morning a little bit about being in, Morgan Freeman in Shawshank Redemption. Is when you get let out, you're like, what do? I'm institutionalized. Do I have to ask to go to the toilet? Or no, obviously not that, but there's this weird thing where you kind of semi-enjoy being in this place. Everything's done for you. You can do what you like. You have no pressures. There are no stresses to life, and so therefore, in a funny way, this is an oddly enjoyable experience. So you could liken it, I suppose, to the Stockholm syndrome, where you just become. It's not like you're incarcerated and you become, friends and accustomed to the people who are incarcerating you. These people are lovely, right? But there is this definite sense of belonging here and safety. I suppose it's safety. And in leaving here, you are leaving to a bunch of unknowns and a bunch of risks that you are far less able to control than the professionals. And I wonder whether that is something that will play on my psychology and other people's psychologies as well, where you are cocooned here in safety, and that brings you a sense of well-being and of certainty. That could be a challenge. I'll be interested to see how that develops, and what I hope to do is continue doing some of these video diaries after I leave here about how I am coping with normal life, family life, and reintegrating back into eventually into work and things like that. So again, more to come from me, unfortunately. If you're bored of me already, as I'm sure you are, just turn it off. Until next time, take it easy.